What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Holley, and we are back for another episode of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley, episode 38. Man, we are moving through these things like you would not believe. Thank you. You are all far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world, especially during this holiday weekend, but I'm so glad that you are here with me. I am Jesse Holley, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel me when I speak. You guys know what you got to do. Like, subscribe, hit the notification buttons, go to the clip page, run those numbers up, man. Let's go. Run those numbers up to the highest possibility that we can. Share this. It's the holiday weekend, man. You guys got a little bit of time off. You're doing some garage cleaning. You're doing some cooking or some cleaning up, eating some leftovers. You're driving around to the malls for Black Friday shopping and all that kind of good stuff. Put Unfiltered with Jesse Holley in your system. You don't got to watch it on YouTube, which I greatly appreciate if you do. But if you're on the run and out and about, go listen to it on Spotify. Go listen to it on Apple. Hit the notifications there so that you never miss an episode ever, forever. You guys know how I like to get down. I like to give my motivation in the beginning because let's be honest, some of you won't even be here at the end, and that's okay. I'm not for everybody. But before you decide that, give me 3 shows. Pick any one that you want. By the time you see this, you'll have 38 to choose from. Pick 3 shows. Give me about 10 to 15 minute listen on each one of those shows. If you're done with those shows and you decide to yourself, Jay Holley is not for me, I will say pick 3 more shows. And then pick 3 more shows after that until you learn to love me, right? I am a lovable person. You will learn to love me. All right, here we go. This might be a little bit sacrilegious because of who it's come from, but I heard it and I thought to myself, and I even fought myself. But I love you, and I thought this was a message that you, me, us, we needed to hear. But it comes from Jay Bilas. If you don't know, Jay Bilas played basketball at the University of Durham Tech. No, he played basketball at Duke. I know it's always go Hill, but I thought this was so profound, and I thought this was such a good thing. And I'm going to kind of say, it's his words, but I'm going to kind of put him in reverse. He said, Jay Bilas, don't take special for granted. Because if you're not careful, you can start to think it's routine. Don't take special for granted. Don't take special for granted. Every single day we get up and we kind of have our routines. We kind of do different things. And the thing that Jay Bilas was talking about, he was talking about his university. And I felt it because, I took a moment in time and I just went back and I just thought about my life. Here it is that I come from a family of abandonment. My mom was not there. My father was not there. I was raised by my grandmother who made less than $30,000 a year, and she raised me and my 2 brothers. Statistics said that I was supposed to be dead or in jail. A kid who lives in that environment with that type of surroundings, no mother, no father, he's supposed to be lost to the environment, lost to the streets. He's supposed to become a statistic. Well, not only did I not become a statistic, I went on and had a pretty good high school career, became one of the best players in the state of New Jersey in 2 sports, an All-American in 2 sports, had to pick up the litter to where I wanted to go and spend my college years at. I decided on the University of North Carolina, where I spent 4 years playing 4 years playing football, 2 years playing basketball. I won a national championship. Then I went on to the National Football League, was there, was out, was poor, was gone, came back off a reality TV show to spend 4 more years in the league. Now I'm covering it in the media, and I have my own show. And I can go on for hours and hours and hours. And sometimes you look at that and you just go, when I get up some days and I'm just like, I get to do Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Like, I don't take that as routine. I don't take that as just an everyday thing. That's special. The fact of the matter that someone, you, all of you, sit and give me 45 minutes, an hour, 10 minutes of your time, multiple times a week to hear me speak, that's not ordinary. That's not routine. That's special. That's why when I come in here, I have so much energy. I'm so excited about what I'm able to do because I have a platform that people actually listen. And I know this is the portion of my show that people love. I hear all the time in person, on social media. You know, man, come for the encouragement, stay for the sports. That's what I want to do. So I never want you to think in your life that it's not special. Don't you ever think what you're doing in your life is not special. Don't let anyone ever diminish you to just being routine. Don't you do it to yourself to think just what you're doing is routine. Don't miss the special in who you are. Don't miss the special in what you do. And again, it may not be sitting in front of you and being able to have your voices heard by the hundreds of thousands. It may be something as small as you being an impact in the classroom. It may be you having to counsel a group. It may be you mentoring a young girl or a young boy. It may be you coaching. It may be you, whatever it is, that's special. Don't ever miss that. Don't allow the everyday, the mundaneness of certain things to just come along and make you think this is regular. I've told you guys this time and time again before. I'm not regular. You're not regular. What you do is special. You got to be able to find an arena where that continues to be put on its proper pedestal. So every single day you get up, understand that this isn't routine. This isn't the, okay, let's go again. Okay, let's go again. No, every day you get up, it's special. And don't miss an opportunity to feel that special. Because again, we don't know the day or time where our time is up here on this earth. And I don't want you to miss the opportunity to know that you're special and what you do is special. So like Jay Billis said, if you're not careful, you can start to think it's routine. Don't take special for granted. There are people across the world that would give their right arm to do what I do. There's people across the world who would give a right arm or a leg to do what you do. A lot of them can't do it. They can't. That's why it's special. That's why it's special, because everyone cannot do it. They just can't. So live in that, be cool with that, but never, ever, ever take it as just routine. It's special. All right, man, let's get into this breakdown. The Cowboys rout the Washington Commanders. What was that score? 44 to 10, 45 to 10. I have it written down, but I can't even read. 45-10. 45-10 on Thanksgiving Day. Dolly Parton was the halftime show. I know Dolly Parton is a living legend, but boy, what a horrible halftime show. Great game. Horrible, horrible halftime show. Dolly Parton, 77 years old, could barely stand up there. She was holding on to the star. I don't know who gave her that cheerleading outfit, but, you know, I ain't gonna lie. You know, and my boy Will, Dolly snatched. Dolly got the best money, the best body money can buy. She snatched up all across the board, man. That skin tight. She don't got 77-year-old skin. She got that good, healthy, surgical, tight skin. But that halftime shows in general, the NFL and these teams, 0 for 3. That's a whole nother conversation, 0 for 3, okay? The Lions and, who was the Lions playing? The Packers? I don't know what the hell that was with Jack Harlow. That set was a blue tent on a slip and slide. It looked terrible. Cowboys, Dolly Parton, I know she's a living legend. Horrible. Lip singing and couldn't stand up. And then the Seahawks just said, we ain't even gonna have a performer. We're just gonna have Stephen Aoki just play music. You didn't have to pay Aoki all that money to come and play. You could have just put that ox in. You could have got one of his playlists, put it in the over-speaker, loudspeaker, the aux in there, and hit play, and let the people do what they do. But whatever. Hey, to each his own. To each his own. But let's get into this game, man. The Cowboys, they beat another bad team. And I know a lot of people are coming out and they're saying, oh, here we go again. The Cowboys dominate a bad team. I'm going to tell you, what do you want them to do? I know what the narrative is. All right, they lose against team above 500, and their record, a winning record this season against team who have a combined 11 wins on the season. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have some magical script or some soliloquy to give you about this. This is their schedule, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't ask for it. It's not like the Cowboys are saying, well, no, we don't want to play Washington this week. Give us this team. No. This is who the NFL schedule makers gave them. So you play the people on your schedule. And they're doing to these teams what you would think a team that's far superior than the other team would do. They would go out there and dominate these wins. And they've done that. Right now, they have a 12-game home win streak where they're averaging just about 40 points a game, and they're beating opponents at home by a margin of 20-plus points per game. I mean, they're just doing what they're supposed to do to inferior talent. Now, they have a nice little run coming up where they get a chance to play some teams with winning records. And we'll see how that falls out when we get there. But up to this point, they didn't know what the Panthers were going to be this year. You didn't know what the Giants were going to be this year. You didn't know what Washington was going to be this year. They made the schedule. They're playing the schedule that was presented to them, period. That's all they can do. And it's no different from any other team. You just play who the guys have in front of you and hope that you can win as many games as possible. And right now, the Cowboys are 8-3. Heading into this game, you looked at this offense, and it's been on a heater since the Cowboys have gone into come out of the bye. And I remember telling you guys that. I said it was time for them to get going. I said that was a portion of the year where you're saying no more playing around. No more trying to figure this thing out. You gotta make a decision. Which way are we going to go? How is this thing going to work for us? And Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott have been absolutely red hot. In this game, Dak Prescott, 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, 10 different receivers caught a pass in this game. The distribution of this offense is beginning to truly pick up. You saw Brandon Cooks. He's getting going now. And that's going to be a good thing because you know what you have with CeeDee Lamb. But getting Brandon Cooks going, getting Jake Ferguson going, getting other guys in this offense going is definitely going to help this football team heading down the stretch and getting ready for the playoffs. The Cowboys are going to the playoffs. Now, unless they have an epic collapse and I don't even want to say this out loud, but unless they have an epic collapse or their starting quarterback goes down, they're going to the playoffs. Now, where they end up in the playoff seeding, that's on them. They have forfeited the right to pick and choose where they go. When you lose one game already to the Philadelphia Eagles, but the most importantly, when you lost to Arizona, you put yourself behind the 8 ball, and now you have to play the games in front of you and really just basically wait it out and figure out where you're going to fit. You forfeited the ability to choose your own destiny. You did. When you lost to Arizona, you forfeited your ability to choose your own destiny. Now, what you can pray for and hope for is that Philly falls off. Well, if you're watching football, you thought the first leg of Philly falling off was going to be when they played the Chiefs. They won that game. So you're still behind the 8 ball with that. You have another opportunity to play them again, but still, and you have to take care of business and hope that others fall off. The opportunity for you to do that is you forfeited that. But nonetheless, there were some things that I saw in this game. Dak Prescott, he had probably 3 of the most beautiful throws I've seen him throw in a very long time. He had the one seam route to Jake Ferguson. It was a beauty. I mean, an absolute dime. The offensive line was giving Dak all types of time. And that goes for any quarterback in this league. If you give your quarterback the type of time that Dak Prescott had in this game, boy, he can carve people up. And he had a dime down the seam to Jake Ferguson. Then he came back later on in the game. He threw another one that was a dime that Jake didn't bring down because of the hit. And I thought to myself, ooh, that was an arrogant dog. That was a heat check. I wouldn't go to that one again, but the pass was just, you couldn't have thrown a better pass. I mean, the hit separated it from Jake, but it was threaded between 3 people. I mean, absolute dime. And then he had the one in the back of the end zone to CeeDee Lamb, which, by the way, CeeDee Lamb got an octopus. I learned what this was today. An octopus. Tay, you know what an octopus is? In the NFL? Not a real octopus. In the NFL, an octopus? Nah, I didn't either till this morning. A real octopus, how many legs does the octopus have?
9 or 8.
Eight. Don't say 9. 8. The octopus has 8 legs. Well, CeeDee Lamb goes and gets the touchdown. How many points is that? 6. Boy, we're going to work with your math, Tay. 6 points for CeeDee Lamb with the touchdown. Then he followed it up with the 2-point conversion. So he got an octopus on that play. All 8 points, not sharing the spread with anyone else. He went and did that. Speaking of sharing the spread, the Cowboys, I don't know why. This is a pretty cool celebration. All week long leading up to it, everybody was talking about what are the Cowboys going to do. You saw the whack-a-mole or whatever it's called last year with the tight ends. And you remember Zeke, his infamous jumping into the kettlebell, and he put Dak in there one time. And this has become a thing where the Cowboys now are looking to do different types of celebrations with the red kettle, Salvation Army kettle, inside the end zones. So what did they do this week? There's 4 in the end zones, 2 on each side. Well, they decided because Dak has always wanted to have one of those turducken turkey legs. The winner of the game, the players of the game, goes out there and they get the turducken, right? The John Madden special goes all the way back when John Madden first started doing Thanksgiving game. They would have the turduckens, the 6 turkey legs. So Dak has never had one. So they decided, well, we're going to put turkey legs in all of the Salvation Army canisters. And if we score a touchdown, it had to be a certain, you couldn't do it in a close game because it might be a flag, you went with the penalty. But when they got further enough, they went out there, Kavontae Turpin, he threw a beautiful pass to Kavontae Turpin down the seam for a touchdown, and they decided this is time. Kavontae Turpin jumps into the kettle and pulls out turkey legs for all. And we saw Dak eat meat on national TV. Pause. That's a major pause moment right there. There's a bunch of dudes eating meat on national TV. Pause. But that was a pretty cool celebration that we got a chance to see on TV.
They're going to get fined for that?
They're going to get fined for that. 100% they're getting fined for that. Everybody that was involved, Kavontae Turpin, whoever grabbed the turkey leg, whoever had a piece of meat in their mouth on the field are getting fined. Pause. They're getting fined. Now, I think last year Dak picked up the fine, and I'm sure, because Dak even said, he said, I talked to Mike McCarthy before the game. While he was talking to Jerry Jones, they both approved it. So maybe Jerry picks up the fine. Nonetheless, the fine is coming. That part is for sure. The FedEx is on the way. I know it's the holiday season, but the FedEx will be in the mailbox on Monday, for sure. And I don't know if they're going to call those guys for repeat offenders, but it's the fine is coming. Maybe Jerry picks it up. Maybe Mike McCarthy picks it up. Maybe even Dak picks it up. Dak got more than enough money to pick up, maybe a $10,000 fine apiece for those guys. $30,000, $40,000. That's a drop in the Salvation Army bucket. The one thing I wish the NFL would do, because it's kind of, the Cowboys, Thanksgiving Day, Salvation Army, if you're going to fine these guys, let the fine money that you take from these guys donate it to the Salvation Army. I mean, that's fair. That's fair, right? Because even as players, we can write off on our taxes. We write off fines as charitable donations. That's what it actually goes to. It actually goes to the NFL charitable play 60 and all that kind of stuff. Cleats for calls for with all that. That money, the fine money, which by the way, Kareem Jackson, you've given almost $1 million a year. $1 million away this year with your illegal hits. So the donation bucket is pretty heavy in the NFL office right now. But yeah, I would love for that money to go to that would go to the Salvation Army. But speaking of Dak, I mean, he's just been on this absolute heater, and say what you wish about putting him in the MVP conversation or not. But I'll tell you this, according to PPF, Dak has the highest single game grade by a quarterback, 97, since 2007. And he has the highest grade by any player at any position this year. He graded out 97 in this game. I mean, he was absolutely on fire. But I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm not going to bury the lead in this game. Dak was great. Offense was great. Micah and the defense got things rocking and rolling. Dolly Parton, whatever. But the flowers must go to DaRon Bland. Please excuse me as I stretch out to pat myself on the back. I told y'all. Y'all know that, y'all know when Boosie's daughter, when he was locked up, remember little Boosie, he was locked up and the daughter was like, I told y'all. I can't say what she said because, whatever. But she was like, I told y'all, he coming home. That was me. Every time DaRon Bland do something, I'm like, I told y'all. DaRon Bland, with his NFL record-breaking 5th pick 6 of the year. No one in NFL history, and that's 75 plus years, 100 years of NFL football. Gold jacket DB after gold jacket DB. Nobody has done what DaRon Bland has done ever. 5 pick 6s on the season. 5 touchdowns. There are currently only 13 wide receivers in the entire National Football League that have more touchdowns than DaRon Bland. 13. There are only 13 NFL wide receivers that have more touchdowns than DaRon Bland. Let me just put into perspective, because I just feel like there's not enough flowers and shine, not enough people outside of the Dallas media that are screaming at the top of their lungs just how special this moment is for DaRon Bland. Let me just give you a little bit of perspective of what he is doing. Now, DaRon Bland, this is the guy who's not a 7-year vet. This is the guy who's not a 5-year vet. This is a guy who is actually in his 2nd year. He's played a year and a half. A little bit more than a year and a half. And I thought to myself, boy, 5 touchdowns, 5 pick 6s, 5 interceptions for touchdowns, and no one in the NFL has done that. And I got to thinking, man, who are some people that you may think about? Of course, who's the first one you think about? Prime time. Deion Sanders, probably the GOAT. I agree with Deion Sanders. There should be different levels of Hall of Fame. He's on that top level of the game-changing type player that in the Hall of Fame. In a 14-year career, Deion Sanders, 9 pick 6s. 9. Now, he has some punts and some other receiving touchdowns, but 9 defensive pick 6s in a 14-year career. Darrelle Revis Island. He was you had Prime would say 75% of the world is covered by water, the other 25 is covered by me. Then Revis said, I put receivers on an island. Revis Island, in his illustrious gold jacket 11-year career, 3 pick 6s. Charles Woodson, in an 18-year career where he played cornerback and then moved to safety. In 18 years, Charles Woodson, 11 pick 6s. Ed Reed, in a 12-year career, 7 pick 6s. If you want to go recently, Marcus Peters is another guy you think about. Marcus Peters, in his career, has only 7 return pick 6s for touchdowns. Now, I just gave you guys who played 10-plus years in the league. And they were considered in their time the best of the best. Now, please don't confuse this. I'm giving perspective. I'm not saying by any means is DaRon Bland anywhere near the level of Darrelle Revis or Prime or Charles or Ed Reed. No. Don't miss what I'm saying because your hearing is bad. Get the Tootsie Rolls out your ear and listen to what I'm trying to say. I'm giving you perspective on the time frame. All of these guys have played 10-plus years in the league. DaRon Bland has played a year and a half, and he has 5. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do this every single year, but if he plays the next 5 years and he gets 1 each year, that's 10. That puts him in the category with these guys. Let me give you a little bit more perspective. Opposite of DaRon Bland, you have the grizzled vet Stephon Gilmore, who in 2019, Stephon Gilmore won what? The Defensive Player of the Year award when he was with the New England Patriots. Let me give you the numbers of what Stephon Gilmore did that season. In that season, Stephon Gilmore had 53 total tackles. He had 20 pass breakups. He had 6 interceptions, 2 of them returned for touchdowns. That's in the season. Let me tell you what DaRon Bland has done in 11 games. Mind you, DaRon Bland wasn't even the starter to start the season. He didn't become a starter full-time. He was playing a reserve role. He didn't become a starter full-time. Even last year, he was the nickel guy. He was the slot guy. Fast forward to this year, Trayvon Diggs started the year at corner, Gilmore on the other side. Bland was in the slot. Trayvon gets hurt, insert DaRon Bland. So he didn't even have the full season. But 11 games so far for DaRon Bland. In 11 games, he has 48 total tackles, 36 of them solo. He has 13 pass breakups. He has 7 interceptions. 5 of them returned for touchdowns. He's already, again, Gilmore, 53 total tackles. DaRon Bland, 48. 20 pass breakups, 13 pass breakups, 6 interceptions, 7 interceptions, 5 of them returned for touchdowns in 11 games. Listen, what he's doing is happening at a historic rate. If you're telling me that what Stephon Gilmore did in his role in 2019 to win him the Defensive Player of the Year award was worthy by the numbers, DaRon Bland numbers are gonna absolutely smoke what he did. He's going to have more than 50 tackles, 53 tackles. He's going to have more than 20 pass breakups. He already has more interceptions, and he already has more touchdown returns. Interception to return for touchdowns. He broke a record. And he still has 6 games to go. Against quarterbacks that can give the football up. I don't know if Geno Smith's going to play or not. He'll throw you one. He ain't the most lethal quarterback in the world. Josh Allen has led the league in interceptions the last 5 years. He'll for sure give you one. Tua Tagovailoa, he'll give you one. Jared Goff will give you one. And if you play your cards right, so will Jalen Hurts. I mean, there are a countless number of opportunities. I'm not saying they're all going to go for interceptions. I mean, for touchdowns. But I'm saying that he can add on 2 or 3 more, so he can have a 10 interception season with 5 of them returned for a touchdown, maybe even 6. That to me screams far more than what Micah Parsons is doing as a sack master, as a rush guy. That what DaRon Bland is doing, and maybe because of where he was drafted, he doesn't get the love and respect because he wasn't a first-round pick. And he came from a small school. And he's not a very boisterous guy, not a very boisterous guy. Man of few words. He picked up 24,000 Instagram followers over the holiday, the Thanksgiving game. By the way, 41.4 million people viewed the Thanksgiving game. All eyes saw what we saw with DaRon Bland. That was the 3rd most viewed regular season game in NFL history. It was the most watched game ever on any program this year. Nothing was watched more on any program. So 41 million people, it peaked at 44 million. Y'all wonder why Jerry not really worried about winning that. I'm just saying, Jerry said as long as I get 44 million people to watch me on Thanksgiving, I mean, the money's coming. Hand over fist. But 44 million people at its peak watched DaRon Bland and the Cowboys do what they did. I'm just saying that there are not enough flowers. People are not talking at the mountaintops about DaRon Bland and his opportunity to be the Defensive Player of the Year. What he's doing right now, to me, is far more impressive than anything that Micah Parsons has done, and even in his time here. Not saying he's a better player, not saying that overall he'll be a better player or whatever, or impact. Right now, what he's doing is far greater than what anyone else is doing on the football field on the defensive side. Just my personal opinion. And I think it was like plus 8,000, I think I saw on the betting odds on what DaRon Bland was for Defensive Player of the Year coming into the Thanksgiving Day game. If you got a couple coins, now might be a good time to just throw a couple dollars on DaRon Bland. Should have did it earlier in the year when I told y'all that he was going to be just fine. that he had the natural ball hawking ability. What is it? Did you got it? Did you look it up? No? Okay, you don't have to. But yeah, man, we got to give more praise and more flower to DaRon Bland because what he's doing is not. I love how things come together. Don't take special for granted. What DaRon Bland is doing is special. Should not be taken as routine. Because clearly, in 100 years of NFL football, no one has had the ball taken to the end zone on pick sixes more than DaRon Bland has. Don't take special. This is special. This is special. It should be treated as such. It should be spoken about as such. And for the Cowboys to be as big as they are, this needs to be talked about more. Jerry Jones, I'm talking to you. You need to pump DaRon Bland a little bit more. He needs to be the face of some things a little bit more. What you have in your hands right now is special. And I'm about to get a little bit messy. Even when Trayvon Diggs come back, DaRon Bland might be your best DB on this team. Even when Trayvon Diggs comes back, and even if he gets back to form, DaRon Bland might be your best BDB on this team. I'll say it again. Even when Trayvon Diggs comes back and he gets back to full strength, DaRon Bland might be your best DB on this team. Don't take special for granted. If you're not careful, you'll start thinking it's routine. You'll start thinking what you're seeing is routine. This ain't routine. The Cowboys win this football game by a mile. They get ready for the Seattle Seahawks next Thursday. This will be the third installation of those 3 games in 12 days. They have a little bit of chance to kind of get some rest throughout this weekend and, get back on the routine a little bit. Then they'll have a mini bye next week. Well, they'll really have a chance. They'll get back on a regular schedule. They'll play Thursday, then they'll play Sunday. They'll play the Eagles on Sunday, so they'll have those 3 days to kind of rest up a little bit, get some of their guys healed up. Great thing was they got out of that game relatively cool. No one was hurt in that game. Of course, the wear and tear is still there. But overall, Cowboys are rolling, man, in a big opportunity for them to keep the winning ways going next week versus the Seattle Seahawks, man. But DaRon Bland, you my guy. You are doing something that's extremely, extremely special, man, and we should not take that for granted. All right, man. Go around the league, give my NFL picks for this upcoming weekend. I love the fact that, this is a good time. You got 3 games on Thanksgiving. Had your first ever Black Friday game. And then now you get your regular slate of football on Sunday. Listen, talking about full. If you ain't full from leftovers, you're definitely full from football. And I appreciate football too. And college football. You got college football. This is kind of the rivalry week. Kind of a lot of their teams played like the end of the year. They play some big games, of course. Michigan, Ohio State. We'll talk a little bit about that later on in the show. But let me go ahead and give you my picks of the week. We'll start with the Thursday games that have already passed. Of course, Cowboys dominate the Commanders. Niners whoop up on the Seahawks. They're getting scary again. The Niners are getting scary again. They really are getting scary again. Come on. MCDCs. The Motor City Fighting Dan Campbells. You let me down. You had the eyes were on you. You had the noon game on Thursday against a lowly Packers team that was right, but just knocked them off and continue on your ways. Would have put you at 9-2. You had everybody watching you. Let us down. God. You let us down. That was a moment for you to show the world that we are real. That we are for real. I still think you're a good football team. I love what Dan Campbell is doing, but you had us. You lose to the Packers 29-22. The Dolphins dog walk the Jets. Boy, Hail Mary pick 6. Well, it was a weird exchange. They had 14 defensive points scored. The Dolphins throw a pick 6 to the Jets, and then they turn right around and throw one back. Holland They threw a Hail Mary. He picks it off, returns it 99 yards for a touchdown. There's no more. Like, that is the most jetting things you can ever have. Basically a 100-yard pick six on a Hail Mary. That's you got butt fumble. You got a Hail Mary pick six. Like, those things for the Jets, they just keep jetting. Like, that's a Jet situation. I don't know how you handle this as a front office. This season has been an absolute disaster. I don't know who you put it on. I don't know who you blame it on. This year, this team was set with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback. Do you go and you fire Robert Saleh and everybody and you start fresh? Or do you say, sit tight, hold on, we have some good things happening here defensively, we got some good pieces, and you hope and you pray that Aaron Rodgers can come back for another season. I think what you cannot do is, going forward, your backup can't be Zach Wilson. I think this is a situation where you try and go in this offseason and snatch a guy like Dobbs, Jacoby Brissett, Jameis Winston, guys like that who can play backup quarterback for you in the event that Aaron Rodgers. It's a weird situation. It's a weird situation there because a part of me go, fire everyone, clean house. And another part of me goes, the season kind of went down. Like, no one is, like, I forgot what coach said this, that he said, what happens, it was a coach, I forgot which one it was, that said, what happens if Peyton Manning goes down? He said, we're effed. He said, no one prepares for the backup quarterback to play. You just don't. It's good to have them, but no one prepares for that. You lose a guy like Peyton Manning, you lose a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you're screwed. Because they mean that much to your football team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when Aaron Rodgers get back. He talked about maybe making a return in December. I don't know how real that is, but listen, I don't have access to the medical stuff that he has access to, and the asawasa and the dark room that he goes to. Never put nothing past Aaron Rodgers. The Cowboys, in their defeat over the Commanders, some heads rolled. Black Friday was also black for some of the coaches. Jack Del Rio was relieved of his duties as defensive coordinator. In a statement, it was almost like they said in the statement, the new owner of the Washington Commanders said that Jack Del Rio actually came to him and said, you know what? I think we need to make some changes. I think I need to go. I think me and the DB coach needs to go. And Ron Rivera and company agreed. Jack Del Rio is out at defensive coordinator as well as the defensive back coach. Now, part of me thinks this was a little kind of, no one ever wants to get fired, but I think Jack Del Rio kind of saw the writing on the wall, and they kind of were like, you know what, Jack? We're going to fire you now to kind of give you a head start on finding a new job. Because teams are now starting to look. Ownership knows what coaches they're trying to fire in the next couple of weeks. So I think Jack Del Rio now has the opportunity to kind of make some phone calls and go, hey, I'm out there, maybe even for some head coaching job. Jack Del Rio was a head coach at one point in time. Maybe he looks at that. Maybe he looks at some more defensive coordinator jobs somewhere else in the league. But so I think it was a kind of a mutual thing between the two sides. We need to fire somebody. We're going to give you a chance to go and get, look for a job as fast as you possibly can and get into that pool of defensive coordinators that may be available during the offseason. But the game that will be played this Sunday, Saints, Falcons, they put Michael Thomas on IR. This dude once had such a promising career, and the injuries have definitely taken him out. There's no team in the league that I think has as much skill or skilled players as the Falcons that lowly just haven't done it. And the NFC South, when we talk about Cowboys, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm trying my best to set up a way. This is why you can't lose any more games, Cowboys. I'm trying to set up the best way I possibly can that if I'm going to be a wild card, I want to go play the NFC South. Listen, I don't care what y'all say. Y'all going to say, oh, Jesse, you want the path of least resistance. Yup. If my first round can be me playing someone from the NFC South, New Orleans, Atlanta, whoever wins that division, sign me up. Sign me up. Saints, Falcons this weekend in Atlanta. Give me the Saints over the Falcons. Steelers, Bengals. T. Higgins will be out with the back injury. The Steelers fired their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. If an NFL organization or head coach or owner or GM, when they begin that overly caping for a guy, you're going to fire them. Anytime you start saying, he's our guy, he's good, he's not going anywhere, he's not this, he's not that, the for sale sign, put it on your front lawn. And for the last couple of weeks, Mike Tomlin has come out, ownership has come out, and the Steelers, and there goes back, Canada's our guy. Canada's our guy, he's good. He's not going anywhere. And then he's gone. Maybe what's needed. I don't know, maybe that was what's needed. But now it's on you, Kenny Pickett. Matt Canada's out of there. Kenny Pickett, you better show up. They take on the Bengals in an AFC. They're divisional opponents. In an AFC divisional game, Steelers, Bengals in Ohio. Give me the Bengals. The Bengals winning that game. The Panthers take on the Titans. What a terrible game. Bryce Young won. Well, this is Bryce. Maybe, I don't know. Bryce, I don't know. Maybe. Give me the Titans in this game. This is a bad game. Buccaneers, Colts, and Indianapolis. Give me. Oh, speaking of, I'll get to that. The Colts released Shaq Leonard, their all-pro linebacker, who was kind of riddled with some back injuries and kind of got. This is why I tell people all the time. When a new coaching regime comes to your team, they have no ownership or relationship or they're not tied to you. They're not tied to you. When the Colts added a new defensive coordinator and Shaq Leonard was out, a new guy came in that was playing well. That DC said, I didn't draft Shaq Leonard. He wasn't my guy. This other guy's my guy. I brought him in. So you start trying to find ways to get your guys in there, and the coach, surprisingly, even to Shaq Leonard, released him, and now he has the opportunity to he passed through waivers partly because of what his contract was and some concerns maybe with the surgeries on his back. He's now being talked about between Philadelphia, and we've seen what Daryl Morey has been able to do. I'm sorry, was it Howie, not Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey's Philadelphia. Howie Roseman, excuse me, the 76ers. They're all Philadelphia. They got, whatever. Howie's has done this year in signing guys. Look out for that. Shaq is being talked about. The Cowboys are doing their due diligence for him. The Eagles are doing their due diligence for him, and probably some other teams. Colts, Buccaneers. I got give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks beating the Colts in Indianapolis. Patriots, Giants. What a terrible football game. It's a bad football game for Sunday. I'm glad they got these other ones out the way. Patriots, Giants. Tommy DeVito got a win last week. I'm going to say he's going to keep going again. Danny DeVito's nephew. Not really. Shout out to the Chicken Cutlet crew. Tommy DeVito beats the Patriots and I hope this really puts Bill Belichick out of his injury. And I have zero concern about Bill Belichick going to any other team and becoming successful. I just don't. I think his time has come. He's run his course. Bill Belichick needs to go to his offseason home and fish. I think he is one of the greatest coaches in coaching history, but I think his time is done. And I think people need to realize that and go ahead and let Bill go do something else with life. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Houston Texans and NRG. Let's go, CJ Stroud, baby. Let's go. I'm a lightweight. I'm rooting for CJ Stroud and the Texans. Give me the Texans. Oh, I didn't give you a game for I said Tommy DeVito beats the Giants beat the Patriots. Give me the Texans over the Jaguars. I want the Texans to go to the playoffs. I do. I want DeMeco Ryans to win. I want CJ Stroud to win. I like that young nucleus that they have down there in Houston. This game will be in Houston. Give me the Texans over the Jaguars. Browns, Broncos. Boy, some bad football games this weekend, man. Let's look at this. Golly. Russ has gotten it. Russ is kind of, Mr. Unlimited is kind of back. He's on a little heater. I think they're 4 games in a row that they've won. I think it continues. Browns lose to the Broncos in Mile High. Rams, Cardinals. Boy, there's some bad football happening.
The next one's pretty good.
Yeah, the next ones are pretty good. Give me the Rams over the Cardinals in Arizona. Chiefs, Raiders. Sorry, Raiders. Sorry, Antonio Pierce. I think the Chiefs work y'all out a little bit in Vegas. Bills, Eagles. I know I packed y'all up, Bills. I think the packing continues. The Eagles move to 10-1. You guys come on to Philadelphia. You leave out of there 6-6.
I can see the Bills getting it.
You can see the Bills getting into the playoffs?
Winning that game.
Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think Josh Allen is cooked. 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He cannot stop turning the ball over. Eagles win that game. They find a way to edge it out in the end. Ravens, Chargers. The fighting action Jacksons. Give me the Ravens over the Chargers. This might be it for Brandon Staley. I really believe it has to be it. This has to be it for Brandon Staley. You're going to have another losing season. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. You have a kid in Justin Herbert who's not having a bad year. Almost 2,600 yards, over 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But y'all just can't figure out a way to get this kid where he needs to be. Now, some of it's the drops that he has on that team. But come on. This kid has talent. He has all the talent you want. The coaching has been bad for him the whole time he was there. The Chargers lose to the Ravens. And then Monday Night Football, Bears, I've already packed you up. I've already packed the Bears and Justin Fields up. Give me the Vikings winning that game in Minneapolis. The Fighting Josh Dobbs continue on as they make their wave. Speaking of Josh Dobbs, if I'm a team like the New York Jets, this offseason, again, I don't know what happens to Aaron Rodgers and how he's going to come back, whatever. But Aaron Rodgers, older quarterback, the risk of injury is there. I go and sign a guy like Josh Dobbs. You're done with Zach Wilson. You're done. He's finished. If I'm the Vikings, I try to get Josh Dobbs to stay, maybe sign him to a deal. But if I'm the Jets, if I'm other teams like that who have an aging quarterback or a quarterback that's susceptible to injury, I'm getting Josh Dobbs in the building as soon as he's available. I'm giving a little bit of cheddar. I'm giving him a kind of a 2-year deal. And I'm holding on to a guy like that. Because you saw this season with the Jets, you wasted a year of that pretty good defense. Because you have incompetence at the quarterback position in Zach Wilson. The front office, you cannot go out there again and saying what we have behind our starter is Zach Wilson. You lose the locker room, you lose your fan base, you become unwatchable. Today that was on display again with your backup quarterback that you went to the third string guy, second string guy, whatever his name was, Boyle. I signed Josh Dobbs as soon as I possibly can. Give me the Vikings over the Bears. Those are my picks for the week. All right, man, to move around with other sports news. It's a PSA. To all you young hoopers out there. Y'all better be careful, man. Y'all better be careful. The NBA has opened up an investigation on Oklahoma City's Josh Giddey, who allegedly, let me say that, allegedly has found himself in a situation messing with them young girls. There is no excuse. There is never any, and I'm not saying that this girl is telling the truth. It's under investigation. Do not put yourself in a situation where anybody can ever say that to you. There's pictures, there's video. I don't know how all this is working out at the timelines match of age group, but you should never put yourself in a situation where you can even have these allegations put against you. Because what ends up happening is, and this is probably some fault to the media, And I don't want to make this sound like I am not believing what this young lady is saying. I don't know. It's under investigation. And if it's true, I hope Josh Giddey is prosecuted to the furthest extent. But what ends up happening is when you put yourself in this position and your name gets put in this type of situation, we saw this thing happen in baseball this year. The bold print is big. And if you're guilty, it's going to be big. But if you're innocent, it's going to be small. The rebuttal about it is going to be small. So the thing that you can do is to always make sure that you're putting yourself in the best position. If it looks sketchy, leave. Leave. You should not put yourself in, and I get it, Giddey's 21 years old, but you got to be careful, man. And if you did this, shame on you. You should be prosecuted to the furthest extent. If you messing around with these young girls, you should be prosecuted to the further extent. They should snatch whatever opportunity that you have to play in the NBA if you messing around with young girls. There is zero room for that. In any league, in any world. If you're messing around with underage girls, you should be prosecuted to the furthest extent, and I have no sympathy for you. None. But stop putting yourself in these situations where you, and some of y'all probably do, and I'm not saying, I mean, we live the NBA with Karl Malone. Well, the NBA let him get away with that. Shame on you, NBA, for that situation with Karl Malone and his nasty self. Should have thrown. He should have been packed up for the crap that he did. Whew. But Giddey's found himself in this situation, and I don't know what the outcome will be, but we'll monitor it and give you back more information about that. But boy, man, you guys got to be careful out there on both sides. Ladies, you got to be careful. Men, you got to be careful. But especially if you're an older man, it shouldn't even be any consideration of you hanging around younger girls. Filthy, nasty. Pop, the legendary head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. I got a little beef with you, Pop, and I like you. I like you, Pop. You stand for good. You are on social topics. On global topics, you stand for what's right in this world, and I'm always for that. You got this one wrong. In a game this past week against the San Antonio Spurs versus the Los Angeles Clippers, former Spur Kawhi Leonard is taking some free throws, and every time Kawhi Leonard touched the ball, the fans of the San Antonio Spurs boo. He's shooting free throws, and they're booing. And Coach Pop took it upon himself to get on the microphone. And get on the microphone and yell at the fans in the arena to stop booing. He said, "This is not of us. We're too classy for this. You should not do this." Pop, I think you're wrong. Not that your fans are not classy. But if I spend my hard-earned money to pay for a ticket to come support you and this team and this organization, you can't tell me not to boo. I think that's a part of sports. I understand the disdain that the team has for Kawhi Leonard. If they're not shouting disrespectful or hurtful things, stay off the mic, Pop. Stay off the mic. Let the crowd boo. That's a part of sports. You can't tell me not to boo. We don't like Kawhi. We're going to boo and boo loud. And I get what Papa say, hey, I've learned long enough in this league, don't poke the bear. And for what it's worth, Kawhi Leonard, after that situation, went on to score 18 of his game-high 26 points, and they lose 109-102 to the Clippers. But, Pop, you wrong on this one, my boy. I can boo. Now, if they're shouting out, slurs and they're doing stuff like that, then I'm with you. Come on. Now we're not going to do that. But booing? No, that booing, that's a part of the game. That's a part of the game. If all they're doing is booing, Pop, you wrong. You wrong on this one, my boy. Let the crowd boo. This is not a place for you to get on your moral high ground and tell the folks to stop booing that Kawhi Leonard. Nope. You boo him. You boo him every time he touches the ball. You boo him when he enters the game. You boo him when he exits the game. You boo him when he's warming up. You boo him when he shoots the ball from anywhere on the floor. You boo him at the free throw line. You are allowed to boo at games. Football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, I don't care. If it's a live professional sport, high school sport, college sport, you're allowed to boo. And don't tell me not to boo. Ever. If things, like I said, if things get a little bit disrespectful, there's some slurs happening, some racial things being said, some that type of stuff, cool. Get on the PA system. And if people are throwing things on the floor and injuring or potentially can injure players, cool. Get on the headphones. Get on the microphone. Say your piece. I'm with it. But booing? Sit down, Pop. Pop, sit down. Sit down and let the fans do what they want to do in terms of booing. I pay for this ticket. If I want to sing opera at the top of my lungs, can't tell me to stop. You cannot tell me to stop. Pop, you're wrong for that one. I love you. I love you, but we got to call a spade a spade. And in the same realm of that, Steve Kerr, he kind of took a shot at his own team. In his arena, he's talking in the post-game show, and he said, it feels like a concert during the game. He said, it's so loud. He said, you can't even hear the game going on. I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, play. Call your sets and play. Just go ahead and play. I think some of these older coaches are getting a little bit sensitive. Maybe their ears are starting to get a little bit too sensitive for the noise. But Pop and Kerr, y'all got to sit down. Sit down a little bit and just take a chill pill. It's all right for them to boo. All right, man, in conclusion, I told you guys, and I've done it all year long, so this is my ceremonial. This is my ceremonial packing up of my Colorado Buffaloes. If I had theme music, I would be playing the Boys to Men. It's so hard to say goodbye to my Colorado Buffs. Colorado. And I want to ask the question to you, people. Was the season, right now, Colorado, they only have 4 victories. Their last game is this weekend against Utah, which they most likely will probably lose. Shedeur Sanders is a little bit banged up day to day. Don't know if he'll play or not. But they're probably going to lose that football game. Find the spread for me, tell you what that game is. But I'm asking you, would you consider this season?
21 points.
21 points. Yeah, they're going to lose. They're going to lose. 21-point spread for the Utah Utes of beating the Colorado Buffaloes. That'll put them at what, 4-8, 4-9? They won't go to a bowl this year. They're not even bowl eligible. You got to have 6 wins to be bowl eligible. But I'm asking you, the people, take your bias away and how you feel about Deion. Would you consider this season a success? Now, of course, the standard is what? Wins, right? Most likely they'll have 4 wins. And they had some disappointing moments. They were up 29-0 against the Arizona Wildcats. They should have won that game. And they could have found themselves in a position to possibly be in a bowl game. But do you consider this season a success? For all intents and purposes, I say yes. And I am for one that do not believe in moral victories. I believe that you got to win games. But when you look at what Deion has done, there was no hotter team for the first 4 or 5, 6 weeks of the college football season than the Colorado Buffaloes. They sold out the spring game. Success. They sold out every home game this season. Success. They were bringing in $19 million a weekend to the city of Boulder, Colorado. Success. They were national TV games. I think that's a success. I think when you look at what they've done over time, or in those games, they had some of the most viewed games. They had one of the most viewed Pac-12 games ever this season. A lot of dudes made a lot of money. Now, winning, people want to be a part of that. Because early in the year, we saw a lot of folks on those sidelines. Sometimes I even thought to myself, doing too much. A little bit too much distraction going on in Colorado. But as the year went on, folks decided we ain't making our way to Colorado. People are attracted to winning. So no matter what, when you win, the people are going to come. Oh, but when you don't, it's lonely at the top. It's even lonelier at the bottom. But I'll say this. I think that you got 2 stars. I think Shedeur is going to be a star. I think Travis Hunter is going to be a star. And more recruits are going to come to Colorado as they're moving to the Big 10. Big 10? Big 12? Big 12. Moving to the Big 12 next year. The hype will be there again. Deion will be in the portal this year like he was last year. Deion in the portal last year, he was the #1 school in the country. He had the #1 portal class in the country last year. I think he's going to do that again this year, bring in some recruits. He's going to shore up that offense and defensive line. He knows that he has to do it. They're out there. They're going to bring in Warren Sapp. Now, I'm not a Warren Sapp fan as far as the human, but I think what Warren Sapp can bring as far as knowledge to the game, I think that's invaluable. I think what he's going to be able to teach these kids, again, I can separate player from man. I think Warren Sapp is a horrible man. Don't like him as a man. He spent money on the prostitutes. He spent money on them prostitutes. Boy, Warren will trick off some dollars on them. Matter of fact, sometimes he don't even pay them. Why he gets himself in trouble. So I hope that Warren that part doesn't get on to the kids. But the part of him being there, they're gonna be able to work another season together to have that unit gel. I think Shedeur is coming back. I think Travis has no choice but to come back. I think Travis next year, you kind of got to make a decision, my boy. You got to play one way all the way. This whole 2 thing all the time, I just don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's doable. I think pick a side and then be a part-time playmaker on the other side. So if you pick offense, you kind of play some defense here and there. If you pick defense, which I think you should do, you go and play, you kind of do like Deion did. Come in every now and again for some package plays. But overall, I think the season was a success. They didn't win enough games to go to a bowl game, but they put themselves on the mat and they made. I've been around college football for a very long time. I played in it. I've not seen this many Colorado football games on TV. They've probably had, they've had some of the most viewed games in college football history. They've probably been on some prime times, all the game days were there. All of them. The big noon kickoff, college game days, the shows, all the shows were there. All the FS1s and the ESPNs, everybody was there. Cameron, Mace, Master P, Lil Baby, Dub Baby, small babies, white babies, black babies. All the babies were there. Uncle Lou, everybody was there. So I think that was a success. I think Deion, what he did this year, solidified that, he's here to stay. And I think next year he's going to continue to paint the masterpiece. I'm not saying that they're going to the national championship next year. I think they'll compete. I think they'll compete much better than they did this year. And that's a plus. So despite how you may feel, a lot of you are looking around and saying, I don't like Deion for this or that or third. I think what Deion did rubbed some of you the wrong way because he did it unconventionally. He did it his way. And a lot of times you guys all get set up in this the way it's supposed to go type of lifestyle. And Deion said, well, y'all do it that way. I'm going to do it my way. I like my way than the way that y'all like. And I think that rubbed some of y'all the wrong way because he did it his way. He did it in the Deion way. Very, very outgoing, very loquacious in what he did, how he did it. There were some things that I disagree with. Even being a fan of what he was doing, there was something that I disagree with. I disagree with how he called his offensive line out in public. I thought we all knew that they were bad. They knew that they were bad. But when Deion came out and he said, find new offensive lineman, and don't worry about it, I'm going to do that anyway. I think that was a little bit like, ugh, you had to say that about those kids publicly. I thought having those big crowds of superstars every week in the locker room, I understand what he was trying to do, but I thought, man, if I was an 18, 19-year-old kid, I'm trying to get prepared for a game, and I see my favorite rapper in the locker room, don't know how much I can be focused. Or when we come in, you're trying to mentally prepare yourself for a game, get the final details in it, and you look in there and Master P is playing ping pong. And Lil Wayne is performing in the locker room. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And that's Dion. And those kids have to adjust to that. So tell me what you guys think. You can leave it in the comments, man, on Facebook, on the Clips page. You can hit me up on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, at Mr. Fourth and Long. Let me know. I thought it was a success. Maybe you didn't. So, all right, man, that's it for me. I hope that you all had a very, very blessed Thanksgiving. Ate up all the good food. Those leftovers are over on Sunday. That's it. Whatever you got left over on Sunday, they're going to trash. We're not going to do this Monday, Tuesday with leftover stuff. Sunday is the very last day for those leftovers. Shout out to everybody that cooked. I hope that you all spent time with your family and your loved ones, got a chance to just fellowship with them. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it for granted, because family, they're not always going to be here. So when you have those moments to spend with them, spend them right. And like Jay Billis said, man, don't take special for granted. Don't take special for granted. Because if you're not careful, you'll start to think it's routine. And when you begin to think special is routine, you miss it. You miss it, all right? Thank you guys, man. I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Mr. Fourth and Long on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Fanatic Views, on the YouTube page, Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Like it, subscribe, hit the notifications. Let that thing run. We want to run these numbers up, man. Tell somebody about this show. And most importantly, remember, never let anyone tell you that their lives are better than yours, because it's your life. I'm out. Eliminate the contingencies.